These are tiny harmonics I made into a cufflink. And when I have them on the cuff, when I play a song, I go. And I say that was strictly off the cuff. This is how it's Scotsman we play the better play.
Hey, what's that,
Huh?
Who's this, you?
That's me playing, I've got a red light on me. It's at Roy Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing my musical gloves.
They've got water on the tips of those gloves.
Well, there's notes. I put notes in all the.
How can we define one's life? Possibly by one's greatest achievements and challenges. So this is what we are going to look for in an extraordinary individual, Donald Brashear. Known as Boots, during his days as a soldier in World War II, Mr. Brashear lived and fought in the D-Day campaign and followed it up with an extraordinary career as a world-class musician. You probably would not know any of this if you just passed him on the street, but he is just one of the shining examples of Canadians excelling and achieving on the world stage.
You're, how old are you right now? 83? Is it 83?
Still 83.
Yeah, still 83, and most people, I think, would have called it quits by now. What is this fire in you that wants to keep performing at an age where most people would think you wouldn't be able to perform?
Well, I've still got the lungs to play the harmonica, and I still have fingers to play the piano and organ, and I even try my little bit of singing. But it's to keep me happy, and that's in my soul, my blood, to keep at it regardless.
The Fortress Experiment gives people a chance to be all they can be, and Don Brashear got his chance by meeting our experiment controls, as I knew Dave Getchell personally, and Dave knew Don through his work. Don was a soldier who actually fought in the D-Day campaign of World War II and followed that up with a long career as a harmonica musician. Well into his 80s, Don wanted to get back into music and performing, as he said that's what keeps him alive. The Fortress Experiment says no to no one, and so here's Don's story.
Okay, we're here with Don Brashear, CD release of his new album, Amazing Music, and we're just going to ask him a couple of questions about it. First of all, Don, there's one special track in there called My Friends. What exactly do you want to do with this song?
Well, I'd like to send it to Al Gore, who is very much in the environment. It's about the world climate right now, and I think it's a topic right now. I'd like him to hear it.
Having aired our first TV show and having the journalist org up and running, we decided to produce our first serious documentary. The subject matter would be one of our own musicians, a man called Donald Boots Brashear. Mr. Brashear had actually fought during the D-Day campaign during World War II, and after the war started a career as a world-class musician. So we figured we could produce the documentary in two parts, the first part being Don's war experience, and the second about his life as one of the best harmonica musicians in the world. I approached Don and he was all thumbs up for the documentary, so I decided to take a week and videotape Don about his war experience and musical feats that spanned the end of vaudeville to the present day. What the hell is that? SIL? Yeah. Look at that gun! Not as old as Don though. The first thing we had to do was to interview Don about his war experience. Audio tracks when I put them into my...
Oh, I see, yeah.
And this red tells me which camera it is because they both see the red differently. So, yeah, Donald Brashear, April, 18th, 2007. That's it? Okay. We had all kinds of memorabilia, like his medals and war record. But that was just half of the story. The other half was Don's quite prestigious music career. At a very young age, just after World War II, Don was able to hook up with 2 other reed musicians and started an act called the Three Reeds. The Three Reeds became quite popular and played some serious venues around the world.
You've been around. Oh, more stuff. Oh, there's the
That's original.
that's the original Bob Hope note with regards to the act, the Three Reeds.
This here now is a smaller Koch harmonica. It's a 10-hole harmonica. It's used for a lot of players that like to play a cross harp too on it.
And by cross harp, what do you mean?
Well, you're playing in a different scale.
Mhm.
This is a super harmonica that I was playing on.
Yeah, what's special about that one?
Well, that's got the 12-hole. It gives you the 3 octaves.
Mhm.
You can play just about any song, classical or modern. Now we move to the big one, the 64 harmonica.
So that means 64 holes?
64 holes, and it's played by most musicians. But personally, I like to play. This was a Japanese harmonica made by Chamber of Hong. I tried to get another one. Apparently, I can't get in touch with them somehow. Maybe they've stopped playing, or Horner stopped them. I don't know what the story is, but they made the super with the small holes, and I find it easy to get at. The square holes, there's a lot of space seems to be missing there.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to buy more of these if I could. It's called the Cadet, number 12 Cadet. I find it the best harmonica I've ever played. I still use this when I play, a professional. So that seems to be the type of music, the harmonicas I have. I used to have the large chords harmonica when I was playing with groups and bass harmonicas and that, but I find that my type of work just calls for the chromatic.
Since IEIJ was also involved in the documentary, we had the editor of the Fortress newspaper, Ainsley Ronsky, do the hosting for this half-hour documentary. And we were basically ready to go and shop it to the networks. The network I had in mind was CTV. Our first show aired on Global TV, but I really wanted to have some resolution on CTV, so they were our network of choice for this documentary. We also provided some advertising for Don's show, in addition to our usual poster campaign where we plastered posters all over the university campuses. We also decided to put out a radio ad for Don's show. And we recorded it in my car with a coat overhead to muffle any outside noises, and it worked.
Are you serious? I look retarded.
Yeah, but nobody's going to see you. I have a coat over your head.
But people are going to be like, what the hell is she doing?
What do you think they're going to say? I mean, you're sitting in the seat beside me. This is just so funny.
No, this is retarded. I can't believe I'm doing this.
No. Okay, so we'll go ahead and read it, and I'll just prove my point.
Okay. A World War II hero and world-class musician. Don't miss the life and times of Donald Boots Brashear. July 26th at 10:30 a.m. on A Channel Toronto. Rogers Channel 20.
The segment aired on an FM station called CIUT, which is a 15,000 watt FM station in Toronto. And this is just one of those segments as it sounded, as I recorded right off the radio.
A World War II hero and world-class musician. Don't miss the life and times of Donald Boots Brashear. July 26 at 10:30 a.m. on A Channel Toronto. Rogers Channel 20.
Okay, it's July 26th. It's about 9 o'clock. We're getting ready to pick up Shane and go to my parents' place to take a look at the TV show. We actually didn't get the contract till Friday, so they left that till last minute. Everybody overlooked it. But at any rate, according to what I read, we're good to go, and it's not preemptible, so this thing looks like it's actually going to go down. The only thing we can do now is rush home, set up everything, and see what this thing looks like. I don't know what more to tell you.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
There we go.
How can we define one's life? Possibly by one's greatest achievements and challenges. So this is what we are going to look for in an extraordinary individual, Donald Brashear.
I had to replace the audio. That's why you don't hear
Known as
any echoes.
Boots, during his days as a soldier in World War II, Mr. Brashear lived and fought in the D-Day campaign and followed it up with an extraordinary career as a world-class musician.
How you feeling, Morris?
He probably would not
It's like
know
the
any of
first show,
this if
actually.
you just passed him on the street, but he is just one of the shining examples of Canadians excelling and achieving on the world stage.
Yeah, I was with the Queen's Own Camelon Highlanders. And we were the 2nd Division, 6th Brigade. We landed St. Andrews Orchard, and from then on, we were in action.
All right, okay. Let us take a look at that. Okay, Don, do me a favor. Just go and read it off.
Statement of a service in the Canadian Armed Forces. Service and rank and number. Donald Joseph Brashear, B157711. Branch of service, Canadian Army active. Date of birth, 17th of April, 1925, Midland, Ontario. Place of enlistment, 10th of January, 1944, Toronto, Ontario. Theaters of service, Canada, Britain, and Northwest Europe. Date and place of retirement or discharge, the 14th of November, 1945, Toronto, Ontario. Type of discharge, honorable. Rank, discharge, private.
And what kind of medals did they give you there?
Medals and decorations, 1935 Star, France and Germany Star, Defense Medal, Canadian Voluntary Service Medal with clasp, and the War Medal of 1939 and 1945.
Now we're going to talk about your war experience, Don. What kind of training did you get at Camp Borden? What kind of specialized training did they give you?
Training for combat. There was rifle training. We had to handle rifles, presenting arms, marching. Strict training to keep us fit for our job to do overseas.
And what kind of weapons were you specifically trained to use?
Well, we had the 303, I think they call it the Lee Enfield, with a bayonet.
Yeah, the little spike bayonet.
It was a spike bayonet, yes, yeah.
And did they train you with any of the other weapons, like the Sten or the Bren, or?
Well, we had the Sten gun. It was one of it, it's like a machine gun. And grenades. We had to learn how to handle a grenade.
Yeah. How did they tell you were moving out? And what
Well,
happened?
that came. Well, we knew when we were going to advanced training, we'd be ready for it. But we didn't know what time. But all of a sudden, we're all, in the morning, we just got up and heard a voice from the Sergeant Major. He says, "Okay, fellas, grab your socks." So we took the train. It took a little while to get there, but they had a troop ship waiting.
By the way,
I
what was
think
it
it was a
like?
New Amsterdam boat, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
New Amsterdam?
I think it might have been now. I'm not quite sure now.
Yeah, what was, how long did it take you guys to cross the ocean? I never thought about that, but that must have taken a while.
Oh, it did. We seen whales beside us and flying fish and porpoises, and it was a scary trip because we had a drill all the time because they're always saying submarine, submarine, enemy submarine, and we have to get on deck and get ready for the guys to work whatever we had to do at the time. That was a big mix-up at that time, but we had a drill in case something happened. We get the boats ready to go overboard, you see. But that was a scary part. But it took I think, a week or so to get across the Atlantic.
All right.
Maybe
Okay.
more, maybe 2 weeks. It seemed an awful long time.
All right. So when you got to...
And we had escorts too. We had some British, Canadian boats, escorts watching for us, you know.
Mhm.
So anyway, then we landed in England, and then they took us to Aldershot. Was our barracks at the time to wait for whatever our duty to do. Never knew a thing. We never knew what beaches we're going to head for, or we're going on D-Day, or what, on Juno Beach, or whatever it was. It was all a secret. Oh, no, they put us on a boat, and we were just waiting on that boat all the time for the right time. And I remember going around the coves and mysterious in the fog and saying, when's this going to happen, you know? And all of a sudden, it started to go ahead. And just getting, before dusk, we landed on the beach. We didn't land on the beach. They let us out before the beach. We had to go through the water.
What do you mean, wade through the water?
Way through the water because of, they would see that boat so fast.
Okay, so you landed on a beach called Saint Andre.
Saint Andre.
All right. Okay, tell me what happened when you landed on the beach and what you guys did, because it wasn't a piece of cake from what I've heard.
Well,
What happened?
we tried to get waded in the water, got on the beach, and we'd heard some shots. And we didn't know what was happening there, but we knew it must have been a sniper. It wouldn't be our own men. So we stayed put until it got darker, because it was pretty dark, getting dark when we got onto the beach. So they couldn't have seen too much, but they use these tracer bullets all the time, you see. So we stayed put.
Tracer bullets, you mean...
It's a bullet that lights.
you see a stream of light behind it or something like that?
It shows a light.
All right.
So anyway, we managed to crawl into where the rest of the divisions were.
Yeah.
I think it was the 5th Division was still in there, or third. It could have been the 3rd. I'm not sure what division. Anyway, we got there, and one of the fellows went up and he says, "Me get that sniper."
Okay, so you guys were actually going after the sniper. We can backtrack a bit. Was it a group of you that went, or the guy just went by himself all the way over there, or what happened?
They wanted to patrol. I mentioned the patrol, but the thing is, this fellow wanted to go ahead. He was a Frenchman. He remembered what happened to he heard what happened to a couple of his French.
Okay, well, what exactly did this guy tell you that they did to your fellow Canadians?
Well, he tells me that they hung 2 Canadians and castrated them.
Mm-hmm.
And he never forgot that. And he said, "Well, I'll get that sniper." And he
Well, how did he actually say it?
He says,
broken French.
"Mon enfant, Chen, me get sniper. He kill our hang on boy. Me get him.
Okay,
It's
and
more, a little more than that.
all right. So, what happened? He went after them. What did you guys do?
He went after him. We covered him from below, covered him fire. He climbed up into the church, up to the turret, right where the bell is. He says, "When you hear that bell ringing, you know I got him, and me fix him." And apparently he cut his hand off and threw it out the window, and he rang the bell, and we knew he's coming down okay. And that was it.
All right.
So we just took it there. That was it. I mean, there's no worrying about it whether he lives or not. He's gonna die of bleed to death anyway if he doesn't do something else. But he got him anyway.
Where did you move in from there?
But anyway, we carried on from there.
Yeah. Where did you go from the orchard, anyways?
Well, we had to move ahead there, and I remember going into this town. As you know, the armored cars go in first, and this armored car was hit by with a machine, a tank gun from the Germans, and his body was laying on top of the armored car. Mm-hmm. So we knew we had a house clear. We started the house clear by kicking the door in and throwing a grenade in. Mm-hmm. And if you don't hear nothing then, you move in.
Did you ever take any prisoners while you were in action, or?
Well, there was one prisoner, yeah. And I was with the major at the time, and that's when we ran into some tanks. Mm-hmm. Tanks. And we were behind a tree, and caught a stump too at the time, and I had the prisoner. I took this prisoner. I had to hang on to him because he was apparently looking for something in his boot. And I had my bayonet. I gave him a little shove in my bayonet. He hollered, and he had a little German Mauser in his boot. That's a small, tiny gun that the Germans made, the Mauser.
Yeah.
And I kept that ever since in my pocket. But then the major, we seen his tank. It was blowing up the barns, and we had no anti-tank gun, any protection. So we knew that we were going to get hit sooner or later. So the major says, I'll go and get him. So he ran, and I still don't remember his name today. I can't think of his name. He ran and shoved a grenade. He went, somehow he crawled below while the tank was shooting at barns in different places in the opposite direction. He got behind with a grenade and shoved it into the turret of the tank and blew it up. But as he ran away, they shot him now. One of the guys must have still been Germans in the tank, must have been visible enough to shoot him. He shot him on the way. I couldn't help him. I was busy with this German prisoner, a young prisoner in a Polish uniform. And I got that, and then we carried on, and then I sent them back to the echelons. They looked after the prisoners after that.
Tell me one or two stories about house clearing and booby traps and stuff like this. We see it in the movies, but that stuff actually did exist.
Yeah, there was booby traps when we house cleared. We're so tired and thirsty. There was a bottle of wine was on the table, and one fellow, boy, I'm going to get that bottle of wine. He said, "Halt it, boy, that could be a booby." I said, "What do you mean, no booby?" But we're told that before anyway. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He says, "Oh, I get it. So we left it for the engineer to look after, so that we went out after that. Mm-hmm. That fellow took, the guys that handle all that, mines and stuff, the engineers. Mm-hmm. After we spotted the booby trap, we had to search the house for more booby traps. But the thing is, we were all tired and we were falling asleep. That's when we heard a little creaking of the stairs, and one of the guys heard a sound and that, and apparently it was a German trying to get up the stairs, you see. Mm-hmm. And we had to eliminate him at that time. But I want to get back to my friend, the Indian buddy of mine that traveled with me, Killintop, mm-hmm. his name was. He could spot or hear a German so fast and get after him, and I think he saved my life many a times, mm-hmm. watching out for me. But as we traveled along, he got shot. Well, I don't know at that time because we separated for a while, but somebody said that he got hit along the way.
Did he actually get shot, or was it shrapnel? What actually did that guy? Do you remember?
Well, somebody said a bullet got him. What the bullets? Then we kept marching along, and of course we see jeeps blowing along the road, bodies piled up, German soldiers piled up, and the body looking black, you know, and then the smell of death was. The things that scared me as a young boy was a helmet. The head was cut off, this young boy, and his eyes were staring at me. And one of the kids with me, a young soldier, said, "Gee, will you look at that, eh?" Then we heard the planes, the Typhoons would be there looking out, you know. It was just kept marching and marching, but it seemed like forever we were going to get there. Then we ran into a flat land, you know, and it was getting near, it was dusk at the time, and we all had to, he said, "Oh, everybody line up now, spread out." We want all the Catholics on one side, the Protestant on the other side. I said, "What's this all about?" "Well, this, we're giving your, one soldier said, "That's our last rites."
Yeah, I was going to think about that.
"Last rites? What do you mean?" He said, "This is what they call the big front." The big front? I thought we did it all. No, he says, "This is where we got to go right through and push right through to Germany, you know." So anyway, I was scared. Everybody was kind of nervous because we're looking at an open field and being blessed, you know, which I'd never seen this on movies before. You know? So anyway, my father was in the war, never told me about this stuff either, First World War. So anyway, this is when I bumped into Ray Bowers. He was getting blessed too. Ray Bowers was a friend that lived in a neighborhood like, and he was a roofer and that, very good man.
Did you see him in basic training or whatever, or you just knew him from where you grew up?
Just bumped him over there at the last minute. Well, it wasn't.
Just out of curiosity, what'd you say to the guy?
He said, "How you doing, Ray?" He says, "Fine, how you doing, Donnie?" "Well, here we go, I guess." Here we go again. Wasn't falling in love, I'll tell you. Anyway, I was scared stiff, you know. I'm being blessed, you know. They said on the boat, God be with you, but they heard it again, but it was being blessed this time, you know. Live, that's a voice you used to hear before. Anyway, he says, "Okay, God be with you," and we started to move ahead. See? We moved ahead standing all up, you know. And all of a sudden we heard some shots. They must have got somebody from the other end because we hit the ground. It was getting dark then, and I hit the ground. I could see these tracers going by my head, and the grass was falling on my head. And all of a sudden, the shooting stopped. And I got up, I found the guy beside me, he doesn't move. I thought I better keep going. I kept on going, and for all I know, it's raining. I'm in a trench, and I'm sick and tired, but I don't know how I survived. The fillets would be the major part then after that, because we were so tired because we kept marching and marching for days, and the sun got real hot, and we started to think about when are we going to rest. So the corporal says, let's park it here, you know. The sergeant major got hit, he was gone, and we were probably just a bunch of us left. But anyway, we stopped to start to change, taking our old clothes off and just resting in the sun, and what underwear we had, we would change, you know. We were very dirty at the time, but there was a little creek there. We jumped in the creek. But you see, when we came out, I seen this plane coming, and it had no motor. It didn't seem like it had a motor. It was just gliding around and observing us. I thought, well, gee, we got some company. They're going to send planes to help us, you know. It wasn't long before that, I heard this big, I knew it was an American plane because we didn't have that kind of a plane. And he kept spraying us. Apparently it was called a Lightning bomber. And then another plane come. I don't know what they call it, a bomber, but I know it's called the Lightnings. It was 2 planes. Now we started running, and I seen a guy getting his head blown off, and the head rolling down, and his helmet down the hill. It was on an embankment. I remember that because there was a creek down below. And something blasted me, knocked me right off my feet. I'm not sure it was a boulder or something, but there was a blast, and it knocked me unconscious, and I felt my arm hurting as I went down. And all I remember was in the hospital after that, in the Belgium hospital. That was the end of my war for me.
Immediately after World War II, Donald Brashear returned to Canada and began his career as a world-class harmonica player, touring throughout England and North America.
Started playing, I heard my mother playing the harmonica, a small harmonica on the couch, on a rocking chair, sorry, on a veranda. I'll show you the house when we travel. And I was fascinated by that. My father had bought me a violin and a banjo, which I didn't take a liking to it. My sister broke it anyway, and the violin, because of the screeching on the violin. Then I started playing a little harmonica. And I went into my room, I kept on practicing, and I could play Home Sweet Home. I thought, well, I'm getting music out of this now. I want to go a little further. So I went to the chromatic harmonica. And I couldn't play it right away, but I put the slide on backwards. And I was playing sharps and flats at first. Then I started playing a long time at that, and I switched it back over, and there I was playing that harmonica. These are tiny harmonicas I made into a cufflink. And when I have them on the cuff, when I play a song, I go. And I say that was strictly off the cuff.
What else do you have there?
There's a little tie clip. I have it. These are things I made. Little tie, an old-fashioned tie pin for the harmonica.
That actually plays?
Yeah, it plays too.
Hey, fire away.
Then we'll go back to the Marine Band. This is the Marine Band, one of the small harmonicas. That's the type of harmonica I learned to play on. At first, I was determined to get something going after the war. As I mentioned, the Americans were seeing shows and better things than we had, and I wanted to get back into that kind of a business.
We've been through this before, but do you want to show me anything from your actual performance days, or do you want to keep going on with this, or what?
Here's something here that fell in my scrapbook, but that's something we've never seen before. Like we play at the Maple Leaf Gardens, you know.
Let me just zoom in on this. This is the way to do it. Oh yeah, we can actually read this. The 3 Reeds were in demand for the best television shows in Canada. They decided to go to England and seek fame and fortune there in the music halls. George Al Martino, Terry Thomas, and Bob Hope. Holy mackerel, man. Well, you've been around. Oh, more stuff. Oh, there's the.
That's original.
That's the original Bob Hope note with regards to the act, the 3 Reeds. Okay.
That's an opera house. We played there. There's a write-up from the opera house and stuff.
This one, Sparkle and Skill at the Opera House.
Yeah.
All right.
It's got our name down somewhere. We don't always top the bill. This is a paper, Musical Express. It's a paper in London, England. And they he really liked us. Jack Marshall was always giving us a nice write-up.
There he is, Jack Marshall. Okay, keep going.
Okay, that's just a TV show called Sugar and Spice in London, England.
Mm-hmm. Donald Brashear on TV.
Yeah.
The Three Reeds Roaming. The Three Reeds Roaming.
Now this is the Alley Cats. That's Niagara Falls, the skyline.
Yeah. So you guys were, what's the deal with the Alley Cats?
Well, that's a group I formed. And I got young fellas, like a rock and roll group, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This is Howard Squashman, we played a better play. Thompson Hall.
Okay.
It's got, you'll see my name there. Is that the right one there? I mean, I had one of somebody else.
There he is,
can you
Don,
see Albert?
Don Brashear, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right there. Alley Cat, Don Brashear.
Yeah. The World Bank, they send me a nice letter thanking me.
Hey, what's that,
Huh?
Who's this, you?
That's me playing, they've got a red light on me. It's at Roy Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing my musical gloves.
Okay. And what's the significance of the musical gloves?
Well, I play Alley Cat on, you see.
Okay, but why are you wearing white gloves? Just for effect, or?
Well, the notes are in the gloves. Each finger has a note. Each finger has a note.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, you're wearing these gloves. They've got, what are on the tips of those gloves?
Well, there is notes. I put notes in all the...
What do you mean by notes?
Well, there's a chromatic scale. Like, you can play do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do, and you can play up to the black note, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, do. But it's hard to play anything too fast because you'd be...
Well, wait a minute. What exactly are you doing with your hands? You blow... What is that, anyways?
I haven't played them for a while, but they still should work.
Hey. You're full of surprises there, Donald.
And I imitate the bagpipe on the harmonica and all kinds of things I do. Well, I'd have to, I don't know if I guess.
Okay, Don, we're coming to the end of the program. If there was one parting shot, one final word of wisdom or advice that you'd like to leave with all your viewers, what would that be?
Years ago, people thought the mouth organ just a toy. Some still do, but now it is called, with due respect, the harmonica, with its harmonic sounds. All children interested in music should try the harmonica first, then piano, like I did. This way the parent can see if the children are interested in learning music. That is my advice to the young people today, from this World War II veteran.
Donald Brashear will always be remembered for his sacrifice and excellence in the music world, yet he was still putting out albums as late as 2006 and 2007, a remarkable achievement for a man living well into his 80s. I'm Ainsley Wronski. Thanks for watching.
Still going. Well, let's see how long we can get it. Ooh, wow, they're giving you the whole thing?
You don't want you coming in with the vocals and full guns.
Ooh, the guy at the back gave me his favorite.
And so it was for our first documentary. Congrats to everybody. Just one of many to come. All right, it's August the 1st, a couple of days after Donald's show aired. It's a bit different than our first show, less of a surprise, more of a deliberate attempt to get a show on the air. But at any rate, the show went on. It was a success. Some people in Don's apartment complex actually happened onto the show, flipping through channels, and actually paid him a visit, which is a surprise there. We had a little bit of an after party for Don and his companion Rita, and that went well too. We even had a little cake. So yeah, the show actually played well. We hit all our marks. Could have been better? Yes, of course it could have been better, but every show could have been better. But the proof is in the pudding that we actually got that show on the air, actually got it on the air with CTV, which is the largest broadcaster in Canada right now, so we are happy campers. If you could sum up, I know in the show we had you give advice about parents and their kids, but if we could sum up your entire experience performing, how would you want to be remembered, and what really sticks out in your mind as a performer after all these 67 years of performances?
A good show guy is all I'd like to remember. Never mind the harmonica or the vocals or anything. Just being a good show guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I seem to have that. I don't know what they tell me that when I go on a stage, there's something there. I can't explain it.
Come partay this Monday. Fostock at Young Dundas Square. Headlined by Jellystone. Check out FOSstock.com and be at Young Dundas Square this Monday, noon to 11. Fostock, it's free.
Hello, everybody. This is Fostock, a one-day music festival. And I'm here to introduce to you a man I've known for very many years, one of the last of the World War II D-Day veterans that landed on the beaches of Normandy, one of the last living people that actually can trace his roots back to vaudeville, a world-class harmonica musician that has played places the likes of the Windmill Theatre in London and Roy Thompson Hall in Toronto. I want to introduce you to Donald Boots Brashear.
Hello. Okay, we're going to start off with this very famous number now called Boots Scoots Boogie. Thank you very much.